Good evening, everyone. This is Malcolm Peters on the 21st of January 2018 for our Sunday team call. As you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names, where you're calling from. I'll probably have to switch off my echo at the moment, as we normally do. We're going live at the moment. We're in many different countries. I've seen several people who've joined us, and tonight is a wonderful call lined up with speakers from around the world, which I'll introduce to you, or who I'll introduce to you very shortly. As you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names, the city you're calling from, and the country you're calling from as well. We've already got a few guests that have joined us. We've got oh my goodness, what a name. Pata Toloso, I think it's called, from the Czech Republic. Welcome to the call. Gerald, hi Gerald. See, I'm going to come over there and slap your bottom, Gerald. Just say Gerald, I know who you are then. Hi Gerald, welcome to the call. Tula calling in from Cyprus. So we've got Cyprus, we've got Czech Republic at the moment, which is fantastic. Frida, welcome to the call from South Africa. Natalia, welcome to the call from London, UK. Chris Harding, welcome to the call. My good friend Chris from Somerset in the UK. Haralampos, welcome to the call. Hi, brother. How are you? Calling in from Athens in Greece. We've got Krisha Gardner. Hi, Krisha. Welcome to the call from the UK as well. Several people joined us from the UK. For those of you watching this call for the first time, my name's Malcolm Peters. I'm calling in from West London, a place called Heathrow. Tonight can't hear the planes. We normally can because I'm about 5 minutes away from the airport. And this call is part of a group call, as we call it, for a group called Global Partners Group. We invite people from different groups to join us. We have no problem with that because we believe that this is a great platform to share information, recognition, and to get good ideas that will help you to build your business nationally and internationally as well. So as you come online, we're going to get the call started in about 2 minutes' time. I'd just like to give you a few ground rules if I can. Please try not to have conversations in the chat area. It is extremely distracting to myself as the host and also to my speakers as well. I hope you all have plenty of paper and pens because normally these calls are full of gems of great information coming from anybody who is qualified as a Sapphire or above. I'll get the call started shortly. Jean-Claude, welcome to the call from France. Fantastic international call. Miranda, welcome to the call from Cape Town. Great to have you online. Mohammed, welcome to the call from Jordan. Look at that. Czech Republic, Jordan, Cyprus, UK. We're waiting for other people to join us as well. The call itself is designed not just for new people who've joined us, who are getting started in their business, but also if you're talking to anyone who's looking at Jeunesse for the first time or looking at our organization, GPG, you can invite them to watch us on YouTube. My good friend Dan is going to tell you a little bit later on, who has told me today, we'll be able to enhance this platform quite significantly over the next few months, where we can link a live Zoom platform to this YouTube platform as well. It'll enable us to share videos, audios, and have up to 50 presenters from around the world, if required, to make sure that you get the best of the best from all the people that are building our business. We're going to get the call started in just under a minute's time. So as you come online, please do introduce yourselves, your first names, where you're calling from, the city, so that other people can see that we have an international call. The call is recorded, so you can watch this call after the call is finished, and you can share that link with anybody you want as well. We've got Oliver Grimley, who's just joined us. He's on his way on a plane right now, as we expected him to. He's going to be leaving in about 25 minutes' time, so I'm going to introduce him first. A few more seconds, if I can, to introduce a few more people. We've got Pia, who's calling in from Sweden. Fabulous to have you online, Pia. We've got Eleanor, who's calling in from Athens as well. Great international call. I love this platform. And I've been working on calls such as this with teleconferencing and video conferencing now for over 20 years. But I believe video is the way to go. And with the new platforms and the new enhancements that we've got, we'll be able to make sure that we have a super show for all of you on Sundays. So without further ado, I'm going to try and introduce you to some of my guests online today. The hardest and most difficult guest to introduce you to is my good friend Oliver, who's an Emerald, I'm calling him an Emerald, so I'm calling him into place at the moment, a Ruby director who's calling in from South Africa. He told me on his way in that he's actually on the airport at this moment in time. So let's see if we've got him there. Young man, Oliver, are you online? Hello, Oliver, are you online? If he isn't, we're going to bypass him shortly, but I'm hoping he's there. Oliver, are you online? Okay. He's not there at the moment, so I'll wait a few more moments. Hi, Anne-Marie Trapman. Welcome to call. I'm Peter from Holland as well. Lots of different countries we've got online tonight. So I'm going to give Oliver a chance to try and come online. Give him 1 more minute. He's at the airport at this moment in time. And if he doesn't, I'll introduce you to some of my other guests. Tonight, I've got guests who've come in from different countries who have called in their spare time on Sundays, and I really appreciate them joining us on this call. The call really is a gathering, if you like, of good minds, like-minded people working together, ensuring that our teams worldwide get great information to help them for growth. You know, Sunday is an important day for all of us. Many of you are religious, you go to church, you go to mosques, or whatever your prayer or your religion is. But for me, this call is important for all of us, regardless of faith or country or background, because it sets us up for the most important day of the week, which is Monday mornings. And to make sure that we get rid of Monday morning blues, this call normally really gets people fired up. I've just seen a unique, a very exciting young man who's just joined me online right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take you live to South Africa, to Ruby director Oliver. I have no idea what he's going to share with us today, but I love the fact that he's sitting there in an airport lounge right now. Oliver, you've got yourself 10, 15 minutes. I'd like you to share whatever you wish to share with the global audience listening in tonight. Oliver, calling in from South Africa.
Hey, Malcolm, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much for putting on this call again. I very much appreciate it. Hey, everyone. I hope the connection's good. I'll speak as long as I can. Yeah, I'm in Durban right now. We just had an event here this weekend, and you know, I've been coming to Durban every month, multiple times for the last few months. I'm very, you know, consistently just building a foundation, and it was just great to have an event this weekend where the room was absolutely packed. You know, it was one of those events where I was quite you know, uncertain. I'm always certain in my mind because I know that the outer world follows the inner world. So I always have a clear intention and an elevated emotion about like the outcome of an event before the event happens, and I have that certainty and that belief that it's going to always be a success. But you know, you're always a little bit nervous as to whether or not it actually will be. So you know, we set up the room, and there was only about one person in the room at about 5-10 minutes before the event started. Then all of a sudden the room had like 50 people within 10 minutes. So it was a huge relief, and it was a really awesome event, and Durban is just taking off like crazy. So it's been a good event here, and we you know, we're getting ready to go back now for Jeunesse University. And you know, I just thought I would share a couple things with everyone that I think has been really powerful for the team and for myself, and that is, you know, working together to really promote the Global Partners Group has been something that I've tried to push more, and you know, the culture of being one team and one family. So we're trying to, I know we did it in Orlando, Florida, where we had like Dan had a GPG banner, and we all sat together, and you know, we all supported whoever was on stage or whatever. So we're trying to do that too for the university in South Africa, and have, you know, the Global Partners Group just sit together. You know, in the past it was, you know, it takes some time to build that culture, I think, because everyone's at the event, but we're all sitting all over the place. So we really just want to get GPG instilled as a culture, I think, more this year, and get everyone feeling like they're part of something. And you know, you learn as you grow, and people, if they feel they're part of a bigger family like the Global Partners Group, it's the chance of them succeeding and the chance of them sticking around in the business is just so much greater. So just really great to be part of this family. And the other thing is just working on yourself consistently all the time is something that is crucial. You know, I've been sitting at the airport now for, I think my flight, I've been here for about 5 hours, and a lot of us will just, you know, do whatever just to pass the time. But, you know, whenever you have time and you're sitting in an airport, or if you're on a bus, or if, you know, if you're in a car or on a plane or whatever, like literally here, I'll just show you guys for the last hour. If I turn my camera around, I've been decoding and deconstructing a book by Joe Dispenza, just who's one of my mentors on you know, creating and manifesting and things. So just taking notes and deconstructing videos online of, you know, what it means to me, so that I'm actually assimilating the information in a way that I understand it on a deeper level, you know, and just making use of all the time that I have, even though I'm traveling. You know, I don't want to waste the time just sitting here in the airport doing nothing. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to better myself 24 hours a day, 24/7. So just try to ask yourself, you know, where in a day can you put in an hour, even if it's 30 minutes a day, to learning about an area that you feel could make a huge shift in your business. Maybe that's recruiting. Maybe that's getting better at following up. Maybe that's getting better at, you know, the initial approach, speaking to people. You know, one of the things that I found out really works well, and Nasli's doing a great job. Nasli's having these Monday meetings with the group, you know, with the team. The team comes together and they're doing trainings, and it's starting to build a sort of culture there in Cape Town, and her team's getting some real momentum, and she's going places and she's doing really well. And another thing I noticed they're doing in Durban is people get together and they literally all call together and they compete, and they say who can set up the most appointments for the following day, and they choose a venue. So let's say, for example, we meet and there's 20 distributors. All the distributors write down their name on a board, and then you give everyone a similar script. You tell people to call people and just set up meetings for that same location the next day. And you just see who gets confirmation. It becomes like a game. It almost becomes like a little competition, and it's healthy competition. And then what happens is the next day you meet there again, except this time there's going to be 10 or 20 or 30 people that have come, that have been invited. And you make sure that you're just closing people, you know, showing them the GPG opportunity video for 5 or 10 minutes, and then just answering questions and signing people up. And you can do these meetings back to back 7 days a week, literally. And I've just seen how powerful it is in Durban. I've been sitting at a hotel. Paula told me she also, when she was in Europe and she built a big business there, she said she would sit in hotels the whole day and just have people bring her people. You know, and I'm at the Beverly Hills, and I've told people in Durban, listen, I'm here from 5 to 7. Just bring me people. These are, and I've got 30-minute slots. Once they book, they book. And people are booking them, and they're bringing me people. And then sometimes I'm sitting with 8, 10 people. You know, this Mama Duma lady, we call her Mama Duma. I love it. She brought 10 people to see me, and I'm sitting in this chair with like 10 people around me. It was just epic. And all of them, you know, decided to sign up, and she's just gone pearl. So, you know, it's all about having meetings. How many people are you seeing on a daily basis? And say to your team, you know, just say to your team, listen, guys, this is the place. You have to take initiative. You can't wait for them to bring you people. You have to say to them, listen, who do you have to see me? These are the times I'm available. This is the place. Who can you bring to me? And ask them, make them bring you people. Don't just wait for them to bring you people, because they're not going to do that. You've got to incentivize them to bring you people. Say, come on, let's do it. You know, here, this is the time, this is the place. Who can you bring to see me today? You know, and just make things happen, you know, because it's not going to happen if you just wish for it to happen. You've really got to take action and just give people the environment, or create the environment for them to be able to take action. And I just find when there's a group of people doing something together, then it's a lot easier for people to overcome the fear. So if, you know, one person's making calls, it can be pretty tough. But when you're sitting in a group and there's 5 or 6 people and everyone's calling, it becomes quite easy to call, you know. So think about that. Think about getting together with a group of distributors during the course of this week and making calls for Jeunesse University this weekend. Because this weekend we've got Lyndon Bienhoff, who's the 6th highest paid distributor in all of Jeunesse. You know, he's a double diamond. And then we got this Susan, forgot the last name, Susan also, who's a double diamond. So there's a huge opportunity this weekend to really explode your business. And you've got 5 days before this event. And in 5 days, you would be amazed what you can do if you really just get together with some distributors that you know are also on the same mission as you, and you guys just smash the phone, set up meetings, get a restaurant, get a hotel. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get it done. Quantity over quality any day of the week. Just have these meetings. If it's in your house, it doesn't matter, you know, and just show a video. You know, the new We Live Jeunesse 10-minute video is pretty powerful as well. And Paula's GPG opportunity videos, 5 minutes long. I find that's very effective too. So, you know, the 6 Amazing Years is another really good video. We have so many awesome tools. You just got to show the video, and you just got to start getting people in. So that, guys, and yeah, I don't know, Malcolm, if you want to add anything here, but my phone battery is almost dead. So
you've done a fabulous job, and I really appreciate it. You calling in from Durban, and I know while you're hanging around the airport, you'll be doing a lot of work to really not just to improve yourself, but also to think of ways to help your group as well. I really appreciate you coming online, Oliver, and it really shows commitment on his part. And it's amazing, you know, how this whole energy between all of us works. All day today, I've had a subject, and I wrote it down before I came on the call, and it was meetings. And without me saying anything, Oliver, who I spoke to just a little while ago, who said, I'm going to call from the airport, has covered one of the most important things I was going to talk about. And if I can, Oliver, I'd like to just reiterate what you've said. Every time I've built a group over the last 25 years plus, we've built it with meetings. You know, we've got internet technology, we've got the phone, but you know, that warmth, that fact that you can be with someone really helps you. If you look at Holland, when I started off with Holland, I went there one-to-one. You should write this down. One-to-one meetings first, then one-to-many. You talking to several people. The person who's got the most knowledge is the one who's sharing some of that information. Why? Why do you do that? Well, first of all, it's credibility. It's someone who's there, not just you telling the story, but someone else reinforcing the belief in what you both believe in. Secondly, it also gives that call to action. You can help people to make a decision a lot easier. People buy people first. It's not the videos and the product that they're buying. They want to be with the right kind of people. Are you the kind of person that you would like to recruit? Are you the kind of person hanging around with people that people want to join? Meetings can start with one-to-one, one-to-few, small groups. And the reason I brought it up was I have a very good friend who I love very much in this business called Stefania Legato. Quite a legend, I'm sure many of you know that. They've been involved in other business for many years, and regardless of what their story is, they are creating a firestorm across Europe. They've got meetings with 400, 500 people at a time, but Stefania started off, just like all of us, by sitting on floors, showing meetings and doing the presentations with 4 or 5 people, sometimes housewives with children, in places you'd never imagine. But bit by bit, momentum started. So I absolutely agree with Oliver that you've got to, whenever you can, try and get together with people. If you're on your own, find someone else you can work with. Look at Lindy and look at Lisa and the way they've all gelled together with Sharon and the other team members that we've got in South Africa as well. So I can't say thank you enough for covering that, because sometimes people forget what they try and do, Oliver, is to try and do everything themselves, and they get completely lost. They don't understand that teamwork really makes this dream work. When I went to Holland, I started off, anyone in Holland will tell you, we went off with one-to-one. I sleep on couches, 1-to-2, meeting rooms. Jordan, we got Jordan online today. And when I'm talking about that, look who we've got online right now. India's just joined us. We've got Jordan, Holland, South Africa, Greece, UK. We got Cyprus. We got Canada, USA, Zambia, South Africa. This movement is going to carry on growing, but it really starts off with what Oliver has said, that you've got to try and use not just the tools, but I would use the power of meetings. The power of meetings creates that energy that people are looking for. It creates belief. It creates passion. And it creates really the need and desire to be part of a team that's going somewhere. So I totally agree with you, and that's a great contribution that you've made. Someone who I have tremendous respect for, who's a giant in our team in GPG, is a lady. I remember once having a couple of glasses of wine and telling her how much I loved her on the call, and we'd never even met. And I said to her, you know, I really love you, which I do. A wonderful lady. She is really someone who epitomizes what we do in GPG. She's someone who walks the walk and then talks the talk. She's someone that everyone looks up to. She's someone who's a mother figure for so many people. Great depth of knowledge, great understanding of what networking is. Emerald Director, it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Kerry Dean, calling in from Canada. She's going to talk to you about one of the things that we all seem to forget. You get everyone fired up and you show them the products, you show them the plan, get them all fired up, and then you don't know what to say to get them in the business. Kerry's going to help you. Kerry.
There. Can you hear me now? Thank you so much, Malcolm. And thank you for having me on the call. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So I do want to talk to you about closing, because it is an area that frightens a lot of distributors. And it's one of those areas that you know, you can have as many meetings as you can. You can be in front of one person or 10 people or 200 people. Doesn't really matter. But if you don't close them, it doesn't, you know, you've done all of that work for nothing. So I wanted to go over a couple of things that make it easier for you to close. And closing is kind of it sounds like it's something scary. You know, you imagine the shark from Jaws coming in, you know, you hear that music, da, 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 da. Here comes the closer. But the closer really is just you. And it's really that you're building that relationship and you're building a trust. And it's different for all of us, but it doesn't matter if you're talking to one person or 10 people or 200 people. It's basically the same thing. And what you're doing is you're establishing a trust, and you have to make people comfortable. And you have to remember that your close really begins at the very beginning of every single presentation you do. So you begin the close at the beginning. And one of the things you have to remember is that, you know, people are often afraid to do the presentation because they're worried about objections. And objections that people have are really just fears. And so what you want to do is you want to cover some of the main fears during your presentation so you don't get any objections at the end. The three most common fears are, I'm not a salesperson, I don't have time for this, or can I do it? Will somebody be helping me? And with Global Partners Group, we're really fortunate because it's easier for us, I believe, to close people than for anyone else. And the reason for that is that Global Partners Group represents worldwide integrity. And so people want to work with people with integrity. So when I start any presentation, the first thing I do is, if it's a small presentation, I want to remember the person's name. So if it's a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-3, I want to always remember the guest's name. If there's a large presentation and you're in front of a big room of, you know, there's 200 people, I always do the same thing. I have all of the, I've got these little things here. I have all of the distributors wear a red name tag and all of the guests wear a blue name tag, so that when I'm speaking to them, I call them by name. And, you know, calling a person by name makes them feel more connected to you, and they have more of a trust to you. And so every presentation I do, and my team has heard me do this a million times, I always start it the same way. And I always say, you know, I looked at this company and this team, and I want to tell you what I saw. So when I say that, when I say I want to tell you what I saw when I looked here, that immediately sets people at ease, because they don't then see me as just a salesperson. Because when you're doing the presentation, the people you're talking to think of you as, well, of course she's going to say it's great. She's up there on stage, or she's the one doing the presentation. So when you say, I just want to tell you what I saw, and then the most important thing I say is to see if it makes sense to you to be part of my team, part of our organization, part of the Global Partners Group. So I always start every presentation with, to see if it makes sense to you and to be part of the Global Partners Group. So I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, the Global Partners Group is the name of our team. We are known for training and mentorship. We have a team first philosophy, and we have your back. So when you say that, that helps with that one fear that's, can I do this? Will somebody be there to help me? I've just told them we have training, we have mentorship, and we're going to have your back. You've got somebody there to help you. So I've covered one fear already, just in my opening. And by asking to see if it makes sense, then people say, okay, then they're more open to listening. So that works regardless of what country you're in. It works the same in every country, every state, every province that I have been to, and I have traveled a lot. But it always works because what you've done is you've set the tone where people are open to hearing. And that's part of your close. So then as you're going through the presentation, one of the things I always like to say is, you know, because you do want to spend a little bit of time, not a lot, but a little bit of time in your presentation with your personal story. Because I said, I want to tell you what I saw. So for me, I always say that, you know, it was important for me because I'm a single woman that I could earn 2 executive incomes and I could break a glass ceiling. But for me, the most important thing is that I could keep my family first. So when I've already said that people have integrity here, that I can keep my family first, what most people think when they're thinking about their time, most people want to spend time with their family. And, you know, when they have that objection, I don't think I have enough time. I've heard leaders say, well, you know, we can figure out where your time would be. Maybe if you cut this out or cut. That's not what people want to hear. They want to know that the time they do spend is of value. So I always like to say, you know, our business is a true asset. We can sell it or we can will it. So I can leave this to my children. So any time I do spend is quality time that I'm putting into an asset that will outlive me. And that idea is a lot different than people's jobs or a direct selling company where when the job is finished or this direct selling company is finished, it's over, right? So this, if they're going to spend time, so I always say, so if I'm going to spend my valuable time building this, I want to know that I'm going to have something at the end of it. So again, I've taken away a fear or an objection that could come up at the close of I don't have time because I've already created the value. And so when people see value, they always have time if something is of value to them. When they don't have time is when they think it's not of value to them. So as I'm going through the presentation, you know, one thing I do say about the products, I don't spend a lot of time on the products. I do say that they're cutting edge, leading edge, but I always mention the sales in the product because I always say the same thing. People are not stupid. And they wouldn't continue to buy products if they didn't truly work. And our products really work. They're really there for the distributor, and they're a good investment when you're looking at our product. So to me, if a product sells over and over and over again, and the company sales have continued the way they have, it's $1 billion company, that's basically what I tell them about the product. I do like to sample something. I do like to give them something to try. I always think that that warms things up in any sort of a presentation if that's possible. But it's not always possible, especially if you're in a room with 200 people. It's not always possible. So then when I finished coming to the end of the presentation, and I've covered the time, I've covered the idea that about what was the fear of not having help. The other fear is that I'm not a salesperson. Most people do not view themselves as salespeople. Now, if they are salespeople, then they look at you and they think, well, you're so successful and you're not a salesperson. And I am a salesperson, so I'll do twice as good as you do, which is great. I want them to think that. But I always say this. I always say, you know, I'm not a salesperson. A good salesperson can sell anything to anyone at any time. I'm not a good salesperson. I can only sell things that I really like. I could promote them. But I have a thing here that in our business where you can buy a membership fee and get the same products at the same wholesale price that I've got them. And that's how I built my business. I let people join me in buying our great products at a wholesale price. So again, that eliminates that fear of I'm not a salesperson. But if they are a salesperson, if they come from a sales background, what they're doing when they look at you, they're thinking, well, if that dumb blonde can make all that money and she's not a salesperson, imagine what I'm going to be able to do. That's what they think, and that's okay. And so then when I come to the end of the presentation, I've gone through everything. I've covered the objections, the 3 main objections. And then when I come to the end, I say to them, now, does it make sense for you? Because remember, I started with that. Remember, I said, I wanted to see if this makes sense to you. Does it make sense to you to be part of our organization and part of our team? I really like you. I really want to work with you. Because that is, when you tell somebody that you want to work with them, that is a compliment to them. And so they see, oh, you know, she sees something in me. She thinks I could do this. So I tell them, I don't try to edge around. I don't try to act like I don't, you know, care if they come or not. Of course, I'm not going to convince them, but I want to tell them I really want to work with them. And then at the end, after I've said, does it make sense to you? If they say yes, then I immediately tell them the methods of payment that we have. And I'll tell you, okay, this is what I say. And if they say no, I just change it a little bit. So if they say yes, I always say, you know, the company has put together packages of products that come at a great discounted price. My advice to you is to get as large as a package as you can afford so that you have an opportunity to try all of the packages. I like the top 2 packages myself because for me, I needed to get paid at a higher level as quickly as possible. And the top 2 packages allow you to be paid at a rank that you haven't achieved yet. It's a wonderful opportunity that we have with this company. Also right now, what they have is they have an opportunity for you and I to work closely together, and I can help you earn up to an extra $15,000 because of a special program that the company has. And that's something I would really like to spend time with you so we have a strategy to figure that out. These are the packages. We take MasterCard, Visa, and whatever package you take is fine with me. These are the ones we have. Let's look at these together. Now, if you have a big group, you can have those packages up on a screen. If you have a small group, I always like to close with paper applications if I possibly can, because I do say to people, you know, I'm doing this here tonight, but we have, the Global Partners Group have this going on all over the world at the same time. And we're all going to join in on these 2 teams I told you about. So I would like you to put down the time that you signed your agreement right now so that we can get you into the system. The other people that are looking at this tonight, I want you to get into the system before they do. Now, if you can't do paper agreements, and the reason I like them is because I have had people try to sign people up at meetings, and for some reason, one person's Visa card doesn't go through, and then the next person thinks, what if my Visa card doesn't go through? And that kind of stops the process. So for me, I've found if I have paper applications, I can walk people through later. Personally, I'm not a big fan of letting people go to the website and sign themselves up. I like to walk them through that. I feel like it's part of their first training. If they're not ready and they say, you know, it does make sense, but I'm just not sure, I kind of like to do a little bit more research, because you always have those people that need more information. So then I say, okay, that's a good idea. I'm going to tell you exactly what you should be looking at. But while you're doing your research, I'd like you to look at the packages we have. And this is the method of payment, because we're all different in the different countries what we take. So here in Canada, I would say we take MasterCard, Visa, and we take debit card. So this is the way you can pay for the packages. And this is the packages. These are the 2 top packages. I like those packages because when I started, I had to make as much money as quickly as possible. So I say the exact same thing whether they say, yes, I am ready, or no, I'm not ready. Because what you want to get across is how they can pay for the packages and what they really want to get and why they should choose the packages they can. What the company has found that the average person will choose the middle package. And right now, depending on the country, the middle package, usually you're paid as Pearl. I always tell people I started with the top package so I could get paid as Sapphire for 6 months. And I think that's something important if you don't talk about that, because people are looking at a business. If you don't talk about that, then they're going to not understand why it's valuable for them to take advantage of the biggest special they have possible. So for me, that's the basic part of closing, that you want to make sure that people understand that you have their back, that Global Partners has mentorship and training and integrity, that that you're building, anytime you're spending, you're building a true asset, and that they don't have to be a salesperson, that they can, if they're not a good salesperson, all they have to do is promote a membership so they can get it at this very same price that you get it at. People love to hear those things. And if you can, as you're talking through, make sure you cover, if you can remember your closing from the minute you opened your mouth. If you say it makes sense, I want to tell you what I saw, this is what I felt, and tell them what the most important thing to you was. And for me, that most important thing was, you know, I wanted to be able to spend time with my family. I had to be able to break a glass ceiling. And because I'm a single woman, a lot of women can identify with that. And a lot of men can also identify with that. People are different. When I say an executive income, everybody has a different idea of what that is. But whatever it is in their mind, being able to do it twice, being able to do 2 executive incomes is really, really important to them. So people understand that the income's unlimited. I didn't have to say that. You don't have to make any income claims. So if you're brand new and you haven't earned anything yet, you can still say, that's what appealed to me, was that I could break the glass ceiling here. So I think those things, when you're talking about closing, are really important to remember, that you're going to cover the objections before the end, what those objections are. Start with, I want to tell you what I saw and see if it makes sense, and then close with, I'm going to tell you, does it make sense? Did you see what I saw? And if you do that and talk about the Global Partners Group, the Global Partners Group is the most powerful tool that you have. So if you're not opening every presentation and ending every presentation with that, you're going to miss the mark. Now, if you're doing one for the company, of course, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about the Global Partners Group. So I'm really, but the close would be basically the same. I'm really talking about when you're doing work for your own team, for our team, for the Global Partners team.
Absolutely fabulous. I've taken 4 pages. Be brief if I can. Just like to mute, please. We've lost Lindy because she just wrote to me. She says, Malcolm, there's a gigantic storm here in South Africa. My internet's just failed, so I'm going to cover through. She'll try and get online. I think Kerry's information is so important that any of you watching this should watch the video again. And that's what I like about YouTube. You can sit down, get a cup of coffee or tea, mark out exactly where the speaker was, and take a lot of notes. I'd like to add a little bit if I can. I think Kerry's experience, thank you, Kerry, really shines through. I think the important thing that she talks about is, you know, for me, some of the important things that she said, I've got so many things here. I love the idea of earning 2 incomes, 2 executive incomes. I think that's a great thing. Practice will make perfect. You've got to say it in your own way. I love this point she makes. Business is a true asset. You can sell it or you can will it on. Suddenly, in the mind of the person, this is no longer a penny business where you can give it a try. You're telling people this is a serious business. You can use it as an asset for later on, and you can will it onto your family. And I have to add, which I made a note of here, in the Amway Corporation, when I first started many, many years ago, several people, their diamonds passed away because, I mean, it's 1959 that Amway Corporation started off with. But I believe that Dexter Yeager, who passed away quite a few years ago, his family today still receives on a monthly basis around $1 million to $1.5 million per month. And this is like 8, 15, 20 years after some of these people have passed away. So I think that's fantastic. And that's why I like what we've got with Jeanette, and I know Kerry does, and everybody else in our teams, because we have a legacy company. Now, a lot of people are concerned about a business such as ours, because so many have come and so many have gone, but we are a completely unique beast. We're the fastest growing company in the history of mankind. We're shoulder to shoulder with some of the biggest companies in the world, like Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook, and eBay. So we've gone past that first 2 to 3 year trial period that many of these companies have. We've got Lindy back now, so I want to settle her in a moment to bring her back on, but it's important. I'd like to add, if I can, while Lindy gets herself settled, a couple of other things as well. I'm going to add what I add to this. And closing is a whole subject. We need to be able to go through this in time. I'm sure Kerry and other speakers will come online. But also, exactly as Kerry says, you've got to find things that work for you. I like to close, if I've done a demonstration, etc., to say things like simple conversational pieces like, you know, having looked at the presentation and having seen the demonstration, which part of it did you like best? Which part of it did you like best? And I keep quiet. And normally they've seen a video they liked, or they've seen a demonstration of the product, they're going to tell you. The second thing I say to people is, can you see yourself using these great products? And can you see a market for them? Can you see yourself using these great products? Can you see a market for them? They normally nod your head. It's an instinctive thing. Anyone who's worked with me knows that I do that. And then I say this using my hands. I say to the person, putting aside any questions you have at the moment, in principle, do you see an opportunity for yourself here? And I'm nodding my head. I'll say it again. Putting aside any questions you have at the moment, in principle, do you see an opportunity for yourself here? And I nod my head and see what they say. 9 out of 10 times they will say, well, yes. I put my hand out, say, welcome aboard. Let's get you started. And I follow up with exactly what Kerry has said. And I think what she has covered on this call is so valuable. And I'm sure myself, Kerry, and several others will add this as ammunition for all of you. Closing is not trying to force somebody to join your business. Closing is making sure that you understand what they're looking for and providing them with a solution. I'm sure Kerry will agree. Making sure that they're comfortable with the presentation and that they are really wanting to join you. And finally, before I bring Lindy on, so many notes you've given me here. I love what she said. I would love to work with you. I'm looking forward to, really, do you see an opportunity for yourself here? It's great. I'm really looking forward. I'd love to work with you. I think that's a great, great input that you've given us. Thank you so much for that, Kerry. I really appreciate it. My next guest is a lovely lady. I like her a hell of a lot. We've been talking quite a long time, and I've watched her over the last nearly 2 years now, 18 months, slowly but surely develop her skill sets. Sapphire, in a very stormy South Africa, calling in today with a subject that really fits quite nicely with what we've just covered right now. Our lovely Lindy, calling in from South Africa, is going to cover with you moving on and moving ahead. Lindy, hi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for the call. I'm going to talk today about moving forward, a little bit about myself. I've never done. I'm from Pretoria in South Africa, and it took me 6 exposures before I said, yes, let's do this. And even when I said yes, I still didn't understand what network marketing was. So I had to go and find out for myself. And, learning the industry, it is so different to what I was used to. I was a bookkeeper for 22 years. So, coming from a 9-to-5 job into network marketing it's totally different. I love it though. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me. But when you do enroll, especially if you have never done the industry, what do you do? What do you do from here on? I've collaborated with Sharon, as everyone know, as a team to help not just our teams, but everyone that wants to join our training calls on a Monday. Just setting ground foundation for new people, for people that doesn't know anything. And if I can give you something, or if I can give my team members something that they can take forward, from an A to a Z or 1 to a 10 list that you must do, and for you to carry on forward and decide what you want to do with this, then I think the battle is won halfway. So for me, this is a learning thing. This is a learning, as Malcolm said, I've been in the business for 2 years, and I have learned so much, not just about myself, but about everything, about people, about speaking in front of people, having the confidence to do anything. It's, no is not no for you, and no is no to an opportunity for someone else. It's not you, it's not personal. And to distance yourself from that, it takes guts, because my first 10 people that I to, everyone said no, and I thought to myself, do this. But as soon as you read the books, as soon as you do that self-development, you understand that it's not you, it's them that are not ready for the opportunity. Moving forward, how do I do this? I go to events. You go to your Jeunesse Global events, you go to your GPG events, home events, webinars, Zoom calls. Learn how to do this. Don't wait for someone else to do it for you. Learn how to do this. My first year in the industry, or in Jeunesse, I literally I attended. Even if I heard it 7 times over, Sometimes something snaps at a later stage. So whether you see it 7 times, the same wording, the same person, something will snap somewhere else. It's not everywhere the same. So you know what? Do that. Learn how to do it so that you can build your confidence and you can see, but you know what? It's actually not that, it's not that difficult to do. I can do this. You need to decide your time. That's very important. This is not a 1-month project. It's a 2 to a 5-year plan. You're not going to make $10,000 in your first month. If you do it, you're really good. But if you don't give up. I mean, I'm in my 2nd year and I'm still going and I'm loving it. Decide also how much time per day you want to spend on this. Because this is about consistency. This is about repetition every single day, whether it's 30 minutes or 2 hours, or even 5 hours if you're full-time into Jeunesse. Do it every day. Doesn't matter if you feel ill, if you're moving, if you anywhere, doesn't matter. Do it every day and be consistent with your time.
I think we've lost you there, Lindy. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to have lost Lindy there. So sorry. Lindy, one moment, Lindy. We're losing you, my dear. We have a real lag in the system right now. You have a problem with the internet connection. Can you hear me? All right. Lindy, I'm really sorry, but in the middle of full flight, I love you very much, but I have to cut you short because we're having a problem with your connection because of the storm right now. So we'll pick up with you. Hopefully you can join me next week. You can come online. I'll come online next week and join us because right now we unfortunately have to. We're having a real problem right now, Lindy. Are you there? We have a real lag with the system with you. So I've got to cut you short, my dear. So thank you for joining us mid-flight there. But next week, hopefully, we won't have a storm. So I'm booking you in to come in next week with some of the other speakers as well. So I really appreciate you coming online. I'm going to move on to my next guest, if you don't mind, because we definitely have a lag there, Lindy. Is that okay with you? Can you hear me? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. Thank you very much. We have to move on because we have a slight challenge with the net there. I'm going to bring on my next speaker. Thank you so much, Lindy, for that. And it's difficult for South Africa and Zambia to join us. And I know everyone in the West, especially in England and America, expects everybody to have the same internet connection. And I've got to tell you, one of the ladies sitting there very patiently right now, it's miraculous that she's even online right now. So without further ado, I'm going to take you on to my next guest. Wonderful lady. A Sapphire Elite, someone I've got to know really well. I've met her once in London, and I'm very, very fond of her and some of the people that she's working with right now. She's building a gigantic team in India right now. She's going to share with you 7 phrases that show that you lack confidence. Colleen Ferguson calling in from Canada. Hi, Colleen.
Welcome. Hi. How is everybody tonight?
Fabulous.
Good, good. Okay, yes, speaking of internet connections, I hope mine is good. I am in a small town here and we have satellite internet. So unfortunately today it's not great. So just let me know, Malcolm, if I have the same challenges and we'll catch up another time. So one of the things that I find with this business is you need to have scripts to talk to people in the early stages until it becomes so natural and flows right out of your mouth so lovely, like Carrie Deans does. Every time I listen to her, she's not looking at anything. She knows exactly what to say, and that comes with experience. So with newer people, you do need to build your scripts, and you have to make sure that words that you're using are words that show you're confident, not that you lack confidence. So I found a great article on Success Magazine. And if you're not a member of Success Magazine online or offline, I recommend that you get this magazine or online, get the magazine, because all these wonderful tips and tidbits of information come up. And as Oliver says, we are constantly working on self-improvement. That's one of the most important parts of this business. I believe it's 95% self-improvement. So if you're not willing to change and work on yourself, you're probably not going to be overly successful. So subscribe to something like that and get some of these tidbits of information like the one I'm going to share with you today, which is about 7 phrases that scream that you lack confidence. So we don't necessarily want you to scream you lack confidence, but at least try curbing some of your verbiage to not be obviously lacking in confidence. So one of the big ones is, I hate to bother you, but. So if you hate to bother people, then you must not really believe in what it is that you're about to show them. So you have to know that your verbiage, the way you open a sentence to someone, is immediately setting up the tone for what you're going to say. It also puts them in control of the situation rather than you being in control of the situation of what you're about to say. So one of the things, like if you're talking to someone, you say, hey, Jane, I hate to bother you, but I want to tell you about something I'm doing. That does not come across as a confident, strong person. Or, hey, Jack, I hate to bother you, but could I talk to you about something that I'm doing? Those are just very weak and lacking in confidence ways of saying things to people. You could say something like, hey, Jane, when you have a minute, I'd like to discuss something with you. It sounds much more confident. And if you notice the change in my tone and the flux in my voice, I even said it with more confidence. It's hard for me to read the lack of confidence. That's why I'm reading it slower. And that's exactly how it'll come across to people. Or you can say, hey, Jack, when you're free, I'd like to run something by you. It's very warm and welcoming and not lacking confidence. And it's not pushy either. You just want to run something by them. Another phrase that people use a lot that you should not is, I'm sorry. Now, I come from Canada. We say sorry about everything. As Gary Dean will tell you, we're always sorry and apologizing for everything. But strong, confident people know when to admit they need to apologize for something. But if you say I'm sorry all the time for no reason, it's showing that you feel inferior to other people when you're always saying, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Am I bothering you? I'm sorry. So you just have to really watch how you use that term when you're talking to people. Don't say things like, I'm sorry to bother you, but. It's just very weak and isn't going to show any confidence in what it is that you have to share with someone. Another big one, this one is it's a real thorn in my side, is I'm worried. I have lots of people in my life that worry about everything. And I'm not really a worrier. I'm more of a person that reacts to things when they happen. But if you use words like I'm worried when you're talking to people, you're expressing that you fear a negative outcome, that in you're overthinking things. So if you say things like, I'm worried about bothering you, or, just anything like that. To me, worrying is planning for a negative future. Worrying is a very negative word, and worrying solves nothing. If you're worried about picking up the phone to call someone, does that solve your situation where you're trying to grow your business? Or does it just mean you're worried? It's just an emotion. It doesn't mean anything. If you worry about a sick friend in the hospital, how does that help them? It's a completely useless emotion to worry about things that haven't happened. One of my favorite sayings in life is, I've worried about many of things in my life, and a couple of them actually happened. So if you're always worrying about everything all the time, that's a negative emotion, and you're focusing on a worry instead of just dealing with things as they happen. Don't assume everything's going to be, I'm worried that they're going to say no. So they say no. Just deal with it if they say no. Don't worry about it, because worrying about it will cause you not to move into action. And another thing that screams lacking of confidence is being the I'll do it person. So if you're at a team meeting and you're the, I'll get the coffee, or, I'll clean up the garbage, I'll do this, I'll do that. I mean, we all work together as a team, but it does show lack of confidence if you're constantly volunteering to do all the things that everybody should share in the duties, not just one particular person. So you want to show that you're confident and you have enough self-esteem to know that you don't need to be the water boy all the time. Another phrase that lacks confidence is saying, I just. So I just need a minute of your time. I just thought you might want to hear what it is I have to say. I just had an idea. It's just a filler word. It's not really speaking with confidence. You want to just take that word, just take the word just out. I need a minute of your time. It's not bossy. It's just you're saying it with confidence. I thought. Why do you have to say I just thought? So just words like that they're filler words just to pull them out instead of using them all the time. Use it, things like it's just an idea, but, or you can say it's an idea that I was thinking maybe we should try doing this type of advertising in the future. Just take the word just out. It really truly is just a filler word. Another phrase is, if it's okay, would you mind? Again, very lacking in confidence. You're not confident about what it is that you have to say. You're asking for permission, and it immediately reduces the importance of whatever it is that you're about to ask. It also opens the door for them to think or to say, no, actually, it's not okay. So you just don't want to use words like that. Say things like, instead of saying, if it's okay, would you mind looking at a video I want to show you? Try saying things like, when you have a minute, I would like to send you a video for you to look at. It's just much more confident than saying it the other way. And one of the other words that is, another phrases that are used quite often that are not confident words are things like think and feel that. So they're just filler words. I just feel like this is an important problem for us to explore. It doesn't come across with real confidence. You need to say things like, this is an important problem for us to explore. Okay, so just be mindful of things like that and pull those types of things out of your, go over all of your scripts that you've written up and things like that, and look for those key words that are words that lack confidence in what you're going to say to people. And also understand that there is a difference between lacking confidence and having low self-esteem. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, where lacking confidence is where you don't feel strong about your abilities. So you can have lots of confidence in yourself. You may, you think quite good about yourself, but if you're about to pick up the phone and call someone, that is where, you're just lacking the self-esteem in what you're going to do with lack of confidence that what you're going to do when you call the person. So just understand that they are two different things and make sure you don't mix them up. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to put all these 7 phrases that scream lack of confidence together in one sentence, and let's see how confident this sounds. Hi, Sally. I'm sorry. I hate to bother you, but I just think, if it's okay, would you mind if I send you a video? I'm worried that I'm bothering you, but I feel that you'll like it. Would you just say, show me the video? Or would you say, you know what, I'm busy right now, maybe another time? So just try saying things like, hi, Sally, when you have a minute, I'd like to send you a video for you to take a look at. And I know you're going to find it of interest. Would that be okay with you? And that way you just sound much, much more confident when you're presenting things and talking to people. And Malcolm, if I just have 2 more minutes, is that okay? I just want to go over, these are just great power words. I don't want to leave you with a bunch of negative lack of self-esteem words. I want to leave you with some good power words. So these are 10 power words that you should use in affirmations every day. Trust. Say things to yourself every day like, I trust myself. I trust my decisions. I trust my direction in life. I trust my heart. I trust my work. Faith. I have faith in myself. I have faith in the universe. I have faith in doing the right thing. I have faith in my abilities. Strength. I feel my own strength. I have all the strength I need. I am strength. Courage. I have courage. I move forward with courage. I feel courage in my heart. Choice. I always have choice. A lot of people don't believe that, but everything in life is a choice. I have the power of choice. I exercise my choice. Wisdom. I have inner wisdom. I trust my wisdom will guide me. I respect my own wisdom. Truth. I speak my truth. I live my truth. I honor my truth. I listen to my truth. Support. I have support. I am blessed with lots of support. I am not alone. Support surrounds me. Energy. I have energy. Energy flows through me. I walk and talk with energy. I do my work with energy. Very important. Don't forget to do everything with energy. And the last one is love. I am love. I have love. I feel love. I believe in love. Love guides me. Love carries me through this life. And love is always with me. So those are just some tidbits of information I hope is helpful. With that, back to you, Malcolm.
Absolutely fabulous. And we love you, and we love what the input was there. I think it's very powerful. And I think what you say there can be encapsulated with this whole thing that we need to work on, which is people's posture. And posture is all about self-esteem. It's got to be based on your belief. It's got to be belief in your company, belief in the product. You know, we're not in the convincing business, and we shouldn't be convincing ourselves or convincing new people. We are the fastest growing marketing company in the history of mankind, period. There is no one that's come close to us. $1 billion in year 6, only 5 other companies did that. Repeat myself, because I've got to remind you and me. Microsoft is nowhere near what we did here. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, eBay. This is what we're talking about, and Google. So we don't need that. No other company in the history of mankind, and I've been involved not in the history of mankind, as long as that, I do feel ancient sometimes. For a very long time, I'm sure Kerry will tell you as well, have had public media exposure like we have, positive media. Everyone raves about us. Cosmopolitan, Elle, Vogue, Forbes, OK Magazine, TV shows, Good Morning America, The Doc. Nobody's had any of this. So that's got to come through when you talk to people. And I believe an important part of what we do here, all of us, is when someone joins us, expose them and educate them to this fantastic, fantastic plethora of information that we've got. Once they've got that information in there, it'll come through in what they say. It comes down to training, it comes down to education, it comes down to confidence, it comes down to belief, and it all leads to a great posture. And a lovely lady who was here earlier, Lindy's a shining example of that. From bookkeeper, 6 times said no to the opportunity, joined on the 7th. Look at her posture now, apart from the storm that stopped her. She did a fabulous job. And it fits perfectly right now to bring in my next speaker, someone I admire, I love very much. He's turning out to be a fantastic input on these calls on the Sundays, and someone who is really respected by everybody in GPG. I'd like to introduce you all to Dan Parks. He's going to talk to you right now about become more to have more. Dan.
Hey, thank you, Malcolm. First, let me acknowledge Carrie Dean, who is always awesome. She's also my sponsor, so who's lucky or not, I'm telling you, she's awesome. I love her. And, of course, the other speakers are always fantastic, and you lead a great program. So thank you, Malcolm, for spending your time and energy to put this together, because what people probably don't know is you spend a lot of time and your energy to get this and make this happen, as well as the stress of trying to get everybody on. So we really appreciate that, Malcolm. It's kind of interesting, like you said, how this call works and how what you put out in the universe seems to come back around, because my topic I just pulled out when you asked me, it was something that's kind of on my heart, and it really ties into a lot of what everyone else is talking about, and that is to have more, you must become more. And the question is, who said that? Well, obviously Jim Rohn. So people that follow this industry, that's a Jim Rohn saying. And the reality is, I'm sure there's people on this call, because people get on these calls for one of 2 things, either to learn more, or they're trying to figure out what they're doing wrong, and they sit here and watch this and think, oh my gosh, Carrie Dean was so lucky she got in early, that's why she's where she's at, or Malcolm, or Colleen, well, she just got lucky and found one guy in India and it blew up her business, or me, or anyone else on these calls. And the reality is, and this is where, kind of like I told you before, Malcolm, that I'm going to be honest, I'm going to slap you, and then I'm going to help you and get you back up and rolling. So the reality is, this business works. You know, look at Malcolm, look at Carrie, look at these people. They're advancing and they're earning money. So the business works. So what's the problem? Easy. The problem or the issues within you. It's you. That's the problem. It's not the business. It's not the people. It's you. It's plain and simple. That's it. So I wanted to say the real secret of this business, because I came from corporate America and I was extremely successful in corporate America. And there are several things I learned in that business. And first of all, it's not a one-person show. I don't care. Anybody who's ever been successful has done it with a team. They might have led the team, but I guarantee you there was a team that made them successful. Bill Gates, perfect example. It was a team of developers that got Microsoft. Every company that's been successful has been a team. And in this business, it's your team that's going to get you there. Oliver didn't get there. Carrie didn't. Nobody gets to the top of this business without a team that they all work together to get there. So that's the first part, is to understand this teamwork. There's some things that you need and you must do. As much as you might think I don't need to, I'm telling you, if you will open your mind and spend some time and make the commitment to do this every day, and that is some self-development. That might, to some people, if you're rolling your eyes and thinking, oh, I don't need that, I'm betting you're probably still an associate, maybe an executive, but you haven't gotten much past that because you can't. You've got to learn, and you've got to educate, and you've got to build yourself up with the right mindset and the right passion and the right focus. So as much as people around me go crazy, I have a library of books. And I'm telling you, every time I hear someone mention a book that's great, I go buy it. Now, I will be honest, there's a stack of books on my desk I've yet to read because I'm still reading other books. But there's one that I read when I first got into another business that Carrie was in and I was in, but we weren't in the same teams. But this book, and when I heard about this guy, it really intrigued me. But his name is Og Mandino. This guy has been around since dirt, for crying out loud. And I'll tell you, if you'll spend a little bit of time and read this, it's an amazing book. And what I've done today is I've pulled kind of little excerpts out of each one. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but there are little things that really spoke to me, and I hope that they'll speak to other people to inspire people to really seriously focus some time on you, because Jim Rohn was so right when he said, you must become more to have more, period. So here's something to think about. The most valuable result of all education is to make you do the thing you have to do when it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. It is the first lesson that ought to be learned, and however early a man's training begins, it is probably the last lesson that he learns thoroughly. That was in Og Mandino's book. Another great book, and I'm going to tell you, I got so many I can't even tell you. This one here, who I went to one of his seminars, is a book by Ray Higdon. It's Ray Higdon does some good stuff. Does he have all the answers? No, but he's got some great things to say. So here's something. Don't wish things to be easier. Wish for you to be better. Another Jim Rohn saying. So when you have top people that do great stuff and they're quoting people like Jim Rohn, that should be a real kind of aha moment to say, oh, gee. And here's another one. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. That was Napoleon Hill, another great author. So these are great books. Now here's one that someone on this call is going to probably smile a lot, because when I heard, I wrote it down and ordered it right away. But this book right here, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting. Okay, Carrie Dean told me this, and when I heard this, she told me, and I heard her say this, I think this was, Carrie, one of the first books you really read and embraced. And I thought, well, if it's good enough for Carrie, it certainly is good enough for me. So I've read this book, and there's some things here that really spoke to me. Forget that you're too far out. Forget that you're hopeless or too unthinkable. Forget that someone will think you've lost it. Forget that that you might be called selfish. Forget those things. Wanting is not only your right, it is an absolute prerequisite for a happy life. I mean, these are all things, folks, I'm telling you, I hope that you're going to replay this and get these books and start ordering them and watching them. You don't have to change it. You just have to stop focusing on it. If you're focusing on the fact that you can't sponsor someone or people won't take your call, guess what? They'll continue to not take your call. It's the mindset. So just remember that. That's a mindset, and you're going to see this in a minute. Now, this is a book. I was on another mentoring call with Judy and Ian Murray. And when this one came up, I thought, wow, that's a book. You're a badass. And you know what? For people that know me, trust me, that's pretty much so me. Thank God Carrie's my sponsor, because she's probably one of the few people that can really steer me and guide me when needs to be, and she'll slap me if I need to be. So thank God for her. So here's something that was really interesting when I read this. It says, wanting can be done sitting on the couch with something in your hand and a travel magazine in your lap. You know, how many people are sitting around right now wanting to do something? Deciding means jumping in all the way, doing whatever it takes, and going after your dreams with the tenacity of a dateless cheerleader a week before prom night. And Carrie, I think, will tell you 99% of the time that if I tell her I'm going to do something, she pretty well knows I'm going to run for it. I don't always hit my goals. Let's be honest. I don't always hit my goals. But Carrie knows that I always put focus and do it. I push hard. We can't hit our goals every time, but we have to force to go it. Now, this is a book that some people have seen the movie The Secret. This was another book in this whole series called Magic. And this book, I won't go into this, but I'm going to tell you, this book was really something that opened my eyes. And the last one I'm going to get to is a book that it opened my eyes to something I'd never thought of. It's called Mindset. And the gist of this book of Mindset kind of ties in what I'm talking about. It talks about there's two types of mindsets in the world. There's a fixed mindset who's very fixed on what's going to happen. They're not bendable. They're not pliable. They just see things. It's like the person that goes to work every day and they think, yeah, it'd be nice to have a different job. It'd be nice to make more money. But I go to my job every day and that's all I do. And I come home, I sit in front of the TV. That's that fixed mindset that just does the same thing over and over again. And they're never open to what they call a growth mindset. And self-development is part of growth. So your intelligence is something very basic about you that can't change very much. Think about that. That's someone with a fixed mindset. So if you have the thought that you can't ever get smarter, then you have a fixed mindset. You can learn new things, but you can't really change how intelligent you are. Back to the same thing. People think, well, I can learn something new, but that doesn't make me any smarter. That's not true. So some of the things in this book, if you'll spend some time reading this book, I'm telling you, it will open your eyes. The other things that I want to tell people to do or suggest for people to do, what's worked for me, as Carrie says, what I saw changed me. Carrie's known me now for about 3 years, and I would assume that Carrie could probably tell you I'm not the same person today that I was 3 years ago by any stretch of the imagination. So that being said, do the books, the self-development, get on the calls like this with an open mind, and every call that you watch, every video that you watch, every book you read those, watch them with the mindset of, I'm looking for that next piece of information that's going to make a difference, that aha moment. And every time, if you have the mindset, you'll do that. Find yourself a mentor. It doesn't have to be your sponsor. It could be anyone, but find someone or several people to help mentor you down this road. Every great athlete's had a coach. Every successful business person has had some sort of a mentor or coach. And then connect with people. And remember this too. This business requires one simple thing. A, to become a better person, to become more educated about the business. And the last and most important one is you got to be active. You've got to take action. You've got to do stuff. You can't just sit and wait. So with that, Malcolm, I'll give it back to you.
My hands are hurting. I really, you know, I've been doing calls like this, like I said, for many, many years. And I never understand it when I go to large meetings. And like a Sunday meeting like today, we've got, you know, this is online, but when we do large meetings live, where people sit there and stare at you and they think in 1.5 hours between the 26,000 impulses that your brain gets every millisecond, they're going to find space to do this. I always write things down, and I write it down because the action of writing reminds me of it. When I renew and go through the notes again, I remember certain nuggets, and every one of our speakers always comes up with fantastic nuggets. And what a great thread we're following on this call as I bring you on to my last speaker tonight, who is an inspiration and an inspiration in action. She came on a call just a few weeks ago, and I just went, wow. And I said to Mpo today, I need to find Sister Sylvia. I need to get her one of our calls. This lady is something extraordinary. Her name is Sylvia. She's calling from Zambia. Patiently, she's sat there for the last hour and 11 minutes, and she's going to talk to you about something that really suits her. I wrote it down. I'm not going to bother trying to look for it right now. Attitude is everything, and is it the right thing for her to talk about? Sylvia calling in from Zambia. Sylvia, take it away. Hi, Sylvia.
Marco. Hi, Marco.
We seem to have lost your light a little bit, because we can just realize your silhouette, but that's fine because it gives you more mystery then. Okay,
thank you, Malcolm. Thank you very much. I've been waiting and listening, and I've really enriched myself. And you know, when I am sitting here and listening and writing some notes, I've written quite a bit of notes. I've written 6 pages, and I know I'm going to use them, especially what Oliver started with. You know, it really made me think that, there are many ways in which we can win our clients. And coming to my topic, as you know, my name is Sunshine. And this Sunshine thing is a nickname that I was given by my colleagues, because whenever I see light, I know that I'm able to do whatever I want to do. I put on my right attitude. And so the topic of attitude is everything is really what I stand for in my everyday life. And I just want to say, if you want to be a success, if you want to be successful, your attitude has to be right. This is what Paul J. Meyer says. And I'm a product of SMI, Success Motivation Institute. And when we learn about attitude, about self-motivation, about what we need to be doing on a daily basis, that can give us the action, the motive, because motivation is just motive halfway, motive for action. What am I going to do to make that thing that I want to act on? If I'm just motivated and I'm talking about it like what one of the speakers was saying, you sit on the couch and think things are going to do for themselves, your attitude is really wrong. And so a little description of by Paul J. Meyer on when they're describing attitude, they're saying a habit, an attitude is a habit of thought. Who you are is a function of specific choices that you have made. Who you are is not determined by how you look, where you live, or who your parents were, or who their parents are. You are where you are and what you are because of the dominating thoughts that occupy your mind. You have the power to change, to be, and to do anything. So use your right attitude. And what Don was saying just in a minute, because I also use the secret, it's another source of great attitude. Because like the genie says, your thoughts become things. Your thoughts become things. So you have to be careful of what you're thinking about, because the genie doesn't know that you're thinking about something that is negative or you're thinking about something that is positive. If you're unlucky and you continuously think negatively, the genie is going to give it to you, because that is what you want. That is what you want. So we have to be careful of what we think about, because our thoughts become things. And every day, like when we're talking about our own attitude, like for me, every day that I wake up, I'm looking at what is the best that I can do today. I put the things that I'm doing and I do the affirmations, like what one of the speakers was saying. Affirmations helps you to start the day. Affirmations help you to have the right attitude, because the moment you see somebody and you want to tell them about how badly your day has been, I mean, who is interested in knowing how bad the day was? We all want to hear about anyone who wants to be successful wants to hear something that is progressive. Say you plan your day and there's something that really happened, you just shrug it off. Oh wow, it was one of the noises of the world. It had to happen. It was just one of the noises of the world. Something comes in your way of what you planned to do. You don't repeat it, because I mean those are some of the noises. So somebody will just tell you, oh, at home, your child has fallen ill, or somebody has broken your favorite crystal glass, and things like that. I mean, you're not going to do anything about it. So why should it continue bothering you? Now you start calling everybody. Oh, today I'm in a bad mood because my somebody broke my glass. Oh, I'm in a bad mood because the dude didn't. There's nobody who is interested. And people want to hear of something that is building. And there are some people, like what we were saying about the things that you don't say, because they're not going to encourage anybody else. For example, sometimes people in our group, they would be feeling, we want to do an event, and they're not going to be there. And I hate it when I see somebody posting a negative, and then this just disturbs everybody's attitude. So when I see that, I quickly pick up my call and I call it, can you please write that thing again? And using some positive thing that even if you're not going to be there, at least you have left something that is going to make sure that your presence is felt. So write another one. So you just change your mind and you think that this thing to be successful, I have to play an important role. And because it is about me, and this is exactly what I want to happen. So if people want something to happen, they have to be the first ones to do it. And if you're going to be a good leader, be the first one to put forward outside there a positive attitude that people are going to say, oh, actually, they feel shy to do the wrong thing because everybody in the team is trying to be positive. Everybody in the team is trying to have the correct attitude because everyone wants to be successful. And we heard that to be successful, your attitude has to be right. In all many things that we do in our daily lives, we like to be successful, but we are pretending. Every morning you are pretending that, okay, even if I don't do this, it's going to be all right. But in the business that we're doing, like business of Janice, we know that our products are great, and when you're talking to somebody, you don't have to have the doubt, because the moment you have the doubt, you've got a wrong attitude, because the products have been proven to be great. So, and the way we are consuming these products, it gives us this attitude that you are free to talk about all these nice things so that other people out there who are trying to get in, they believe you. We had those nuggets about belief, about trust, about all these things that are going on. If we do not put out positive vibes, we're going to receive negative vibes. And who is interested in the negative vibes? Nobody, because it delays our progress very much. And they're saying when you become a distributor, if you earn 10,000 in your first year, you are lucky. I earned my 10,000 in my 4 months of being in Janice. Why? I've got the right attitude. I want to raise my hand. I want to make sure that even if I haven't heard it properly, they're saying, go and do this. I just go and do it. And when I come back to show my results, it's a positive result. Why? Right attitude. So everyone who is listening, everyone who wants to progress, you must put on your great attitude, because that's the key for success. In life, I've just, today I had really a crazy day and I was saying, how am I going to do this? But I just said yes, because that's me. I'm sunshine. So I was driving. I went to see my auntie, like an hour's drive. So when I was connecting with you on the messenger, I was an hour away from my home. So I just called, put a desk in my bedroom and do this and put the charger because my phone is dry already. And right attitude. If Paul said, oh, are you going to manage? I said, I've got 2 sapphires, I'm going to call them. And I couldn't reach Bridget. I couldn't, Jennifer was there, but she was doing shopping. Her grandchild is going to go to school tomorrow. So I said, okay, fine, I'll do it if there's no one who's going to do it. Right attitude. Right attitude. And this is what I'm talking about. If we can be ready every day, the gene is going to reward us of what we want. And, the other day on the 19th, we had celebrating success and starting the year with a bang, 2018. And I got an award. We were 6 people who got awards. I got an award for team building, success and volunteering to offer, solutions Not offering, I would not make tea, I would not do this. If people come, they have to do it by themselves. I just say there's tea, there's what, if you want, you can have. If you can't have it, that's okay. But, you know, I volunteer for the right things. I volunteer for success. I volunteer. I know that this thing has to be done. And if there's no one who's going to do it, I'll offer to do it. And I want to do it to the best of my ability. Why? Right attitude. Because at the end of the day, I like to be associated with success. Anything that I'm doing, just like the SBM, Simply Best Merchandise, I want to be associated with success. And I'll go out of my way to make sure that what I put my mind on, it has to be successful. If it's not successful, it's got nothing to do with me. Then somebody else brought it up, because I would make sure that what I want to do, I'll do it. Last Thursday, I was on a flight, 20 hours flight, from Turkey to here, because of the function that we're having on Friday. I arrived from the airport, straight, call Dr. Nelly, Dr. Nelly, where are we now? Okay, this, we want to do this. Okay, I'm in the office. Straight from the airport, I went to the office because it was very important for our event to be successful. We had invited guests. The guests that they don't know about all these other things, they don't know. They want to come there and have a great attitude. So as a team, when you want to be successful, each and every person has to play their part. Then you ask the questions afterwards. I think that is what I feel, you know, every person in the team should be that missing puzzle. Because no matter what you do, if that, you know, one puzzle is not there, the puzzle is not complete. So what kind of person are you offering yourself in order to fill that, you know, that missing puzzle? Let's all be able to be positive. You offer the missing puzzle, which everybody would say, oh, this person is not here. If this person was here, this thing was not going to happen. That's why I want to be. If I was not there, people must miss me for the good reasons, not to miss me for the bad reasons or good riddance. No, why? I want to be good. I want to do good things so that I can be remembered for the right reasons. If I'm not remembered, then there was nothing to remember. I say, even when I've gone somewhere, even when my late mother used to be around, says, ah, no, Sylvia, when you're not here, even if it's a funeral, it's not nice. Even if it's a funeral, it's not nice when you're not here. I said, oh, so don't die when I'm not here, because your funeral is not going to be nice. So we all have a place, you know, a piece that we can play, and we can take it in the right direction. We can take it with our right attitude. We will be able to actually be mentored when we are great to go with our best attitude and our best behavior. Back to you, Mark.
Oh, now do you all understand why I love this girl? Isn't she just absolutely fabulous? What an inspiration. You know, we've come to the end of our call, and I can thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love people like you. You know, the world is full of naysayers, and it's full of people with stinking thinking. People who find it very easy to find a simple way out. There you are in Zambia, where nobody's got any credit cards. They've had all kinds of challenges getting the products over there, finding people to build your business. You went sapphire in your first month. You made $10,000 in your first 4 months, while everyone's bitching and moaning about what can't be done. You've gone out and done it. And I think you are definitely called sunshine for a great reason. A couple of things as I wind up this fabulous call today that you've mentioned, which is very important. You know, you've mentioned about attitude. You mentioned about thought. I believe it's absolutely true. We are where we are in our lives because of three main things. Number one, the decisions that we took and the decisions that we failed to take. Second, the actions that we took. And more importantly, the actions we failed to take. Third, it's about our thinking. It's who we surround ourselves with and the input that we get on a daily basis. For things to change, we've got to change. For things to change, things have got to change. Otherwise, all you've got to do is look at the last 5 years of your life, repeat that process without any changes. You're going to be exactly in the same place with a lot more gray hairs in the next 5 years. It's an inspiration and a motivation to have someone like yourself. As I wind my call up, I was going to cover something. I'm going to cover it next week, but I want you to write these things down and then think about them, and I'll cover them next week. I call it the Malcolm Peters 10P plan. Write that down. 10P plan. Very quickly, I want you to think about these. Put your own information with them. Try and think about what you would say if you were the speaker on next week's call covering these 10 Ps. First, number one, purpose. Purpose. What's your purpose? It's called your why. Because if you haven't got a why, you're not going to know what, why are you doing this? Why? Purpose. What is your why? B, number two, plan. If you don't know where you're going, you won't like where you end up. You can't go somewhere without planning the trip. Plan. Two. Number three, prepare. Preparation. Purpose, plan, prepare. You cannot build this business without preparation, without education, knowing where you're going, preparation. Four, practice. Practice makes perfect. We walk because we fell so many times. We walk because we never gave up, or we'll be crawling as adults. Children fall. It's part of our growing process. Practice. Number five, positive, it says. You couldn't meet anyone more positive than Sunshine. Positive, how would you talk to people about it? The 10P plan. You're talking to new people. What would you say with that? A paragraph about positive. It could be positive mental attitude, positive outcomes, could be anything. Positive books, whatever. Number six, perspiration. You've got to put everything that you've got into everything that you do. Otherwise, don't do it. Perspiration means work. Work. It's only one way to achieve greatness in the world. Work. Perspire, sweat. Number seven, patience. A lot of people who know me say, Malcolm, you're very fast. You think very fast. One of my ex-girlfriends said to me, but she also knows I have the patience of a saint. It took me 2 years, inch by inch, to resurrect a classic car from dust, literally pieces, all over the country. I have the patience of a saint. Do you? You've got to be patient. It takes time. It takes time for the apple tree to grow before you can pick the apples. You don't start counting apples before the tree's had a chance to grow. Patience. Number eight, procrastination. Right? And big brackets in it. The failure disease. Procrastination. Tomorrow I'm going to do this. Tomorrow I'll make the phone call. Procrastination. It will kill you and rob you of the most important commodity in your life. It's called the seconds that you breathe. 86,400 seconds per day. And every second, someone stops breathing. Thank Lord, it's not us right now. It could be. Number nine, passion. My middle name, passion. Live with passion. You should. You're moaning and bitching about what's not right in your life. Look around you. There's children born with no eyes. You saw your mum's face. You saw the color blue. You saw things like butterflies and bees. There are kids born in blackness and darkness. Have passion. Be proud to have the barcode that resembles who you are and tells the world who you are, your barcode. And number 10, pleasure. Enjoy the trip, because it's only one trip. Enjoy it. Reward yourself. Reward others around you. Pleasure is what this is about. We live for pleasure, human beings. Do things that make you happy. Make others happy, and in the process, you too will be happy. Great team call. My guest online today, wonderful, lovely woman who I really appreciate and admire. Kerry Dean from Canada. Thank you for being on our line, our Emerald Director. My very, very good friend. I really love Dan a lot. We've got a great friendship, and I can't wait to meet up with him. We're going to be together in this journey throughout our lifetime. I'm quite sure of it. This is where we're going to really rest. We found home. We've been looking a long time, people like us. The wonderful Colleen, love her very much. Great family woman. Fantastic to watch her on these calls, making the contributions that she had. And look at her wonderful, wonderful Sunshine sister. And she's got that intrigue of the genie and the subjects that she talk about. The silhouette calling in from Zambia. It's been a fantastic call. I'm sure most of you enjoyed it. Good night, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed it. About time. Time is precious, but when you're getting great information from people who walk the walk first, it's worth every single second. Write down the 10P plan and think about what you would say if you were sharing this 10P plan. I wrote this when I was 22 years old. I still use it today. Malcolm Peters, 10P plan. Thank you for joining us, everybody. See you on the line next week on Sunday at the same time, unless I'm traveling, in which case Dan's going to do the call. Good night, everybody. Great having you online. Good night.